as the lions teared these people to pieces. And as he was taking these prisoners, Jesus appeared to Saul on the road to Damascus and said, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? When anyone is persecuting a believer or is speaking ill of a believer or trying, I've received some WhatsApp messages where some believers have been beaten by militant people that hate the gospel. They're not persecuting that person. They're persecuting Jesus Christ. Their action is against Jesus Christ. And so they're doing it ignorantly. Saul was doing it in ignorance. But you know, I think it's encouraging that if God could save Saul, this chief persecutor, this Pharisee, if God could save him, God could save Mr. Modi. I say that publicly. Everybody outside this campus can hear those words. God can save Prime Minister Modi. God can save anyone that is against God's people. You know, I think it is interesting that these 13 Christians, 13 people that were shot down by the Indian Army, it was a mistake. It was in ignorance. What Paul was doing was in ignorance. And they shot these innocent people, 13 people. But isn't it interesting that the helicopter crash, the military helicopter crash down in Kerala, was it Kerala or Tamil Nadu? Down in South India, that helicopter crash. Isn't it interesting that 13 people, the general and 12 of his men, I don't rejoice in the death of any of these people. But we better be careful. The military better be careful about what they're doing with God's people. Mr. Modi better be careful how he's treating the Christians of India. He had better be careful. You know, God is still on the throne. And God is going to have the final say. And so tonight I want to talk to you about, from the Word of God, Luke chapter 5. Luke chapter 5, if you were in our last night, if you were in the group, yes, was it last night? Last night or no, this morning. If you were in the group this morning, you received, I believe, am I right? Am I getting my days mixed up? Yeah. This morning, you received one of these papers, okay? Now, if you did not receive one of these papers, raise your hand, and a couple of our men here, they can get some of these papers to you, okay? This morning, I talked to you about Jabez. And tonight, I want to talk to you Missions Part 1, Missions Part 2. Tonight is Missions Part 2.